and welcome to the 8th meeting in 2014 of the Health and Sport Committee. As usual at this point, I'd remind those who are not to switch off mobile phones and other wireless devices, but remind others who are with us today that officials and indeed members are using tablet devices, and this is instead of the hard copy of their papers. The first item on the agenda today is a decision on whether to take item 5 and 6 in private. Item 5 is consideration of the approach to stage 1 of the Assisted Suicide Scotland Bill, and item 6 is the work programme. Can I have the committee's agreement that we take items 5 and 6 in private? Thank you. Agenda item number 2 is the subordinate legislation, and we have one affirmative instrument before us. The Draft Social Care Self-Directed Support Scotland Act 2013, Consequential and Saving Provisions Order 2014. As usual, with affirmative instruments, we will have an evidence-taking session with the Minister and as official on the instrument. Once we've had all of the questions answered, we will move to the formal debate on the motion. And in turn, I welcome Minister for Public Health and as official. Good morning, Michael Matheson, Minister for Public Health, John Patterson, Divisional Solicitor, Heather Palmer, Policy Manager, Self-Directed Support, Direct Payments, and Sarah Grant, Policy Officer, Self-Directed Support, Direct Payments, Scottish Government. Welcome to you all, and I invite the Minister to make a brief opening statement.
Thank you, Convener, and good morning. This order makes minor amendments to primary and secondary legislation, all of which are in consequence of the changes made by the Social Care Self-Directed Support Scotland Act 2013, which is set to come into force in April of this year. As you might expect, it removes references to primary legislation to the provision of, which lead to the repeal, which need to be repealed by the 2013 Act. It updates reference to the relevant provisions in the Social Work Scotland Act 1968 with the relevant references in the 2013 Act. It also invokes the current direct payment regulations that would be replaced by the 2014 direct payment regulations, which were laid in Parliament in February under negative procedure. This order does not take forward any new policy. However, I would be happy to take any questions on the repeal and modifications that it contains.
Thank you, Minister. Are there any questions from the committee? Rhoda Grant.
I noticed that no consultation was carried out on the order, and understand that's because the issues surrounding the order have been consulted on quite widely over the past for legislation. I suppose the question I have is there's a number of options here. I have a group of constituents who are really concerned, who are, have self-directed support to organise their own support and respite, but there is no respite care available that is suitable for their needs. Is that I'm thinking this would have been an opportunity to allow those people to group together, pool their respite money and look at encouraging a service provider into the area that would provide respite that was suitable for them, and doesn't seem to be included in this, that option. Sorry, I know that's a bit off the wall, but maybe an unexpected question.
This order doesn't deal with that. That's a matter for regulations, which were laid in Parliament in February.
So that the regulations in February would have allowed people to pool their resources?
This is to do with repealing references in legislation that's presently there for direct payments and replacing it with the terms which are set out in the 2013 Act.
But it allows people to use local government services as well as organise their own care. Is my reading of the notes correct?
That's still the provisions within the self-directed support bill, the Social Care Self-Directed Support Bill, and the regulations with it. This is largely just a repealing of the terms which are in previous bits of legislation referring to the older parts of the orders which were used for
Are you taking that from the note that accompanied the...
Yes, I understand it repeals one option, but it replaces it with 4 options. Am I right from the note in paragraph?
Under a direct payment, as it is under the present regulations, is that someone can use that for the use of purchasing care. What the Social Care Self-Directed Support Bill provides for is 4 options. It includes that option, but also has 3 other options alongside it. So it actually adds to the options that they have. So it doesn't remove anything.
No, I understand that, and my question comes back to, had this order been consulted on, could we have added more options, not just the 4, or are you saying that those 4 options have been predetermined in the primary legislation?
This order doesn't deal with those 4 options. The 4 options were dealt with by the Self-Directed Support Bill itself that were set out.
Okay.
If there's a bit of divided confusion, if you can take time to relate to the accompanying note and specifically raise it, but it is the case that I think Rhoda's point is, if there had been a wider consultation on this, those 4, no.
Not. This is only dealing with technical terms changes in legislation. It's not dealing with any of the 4 points that I think Rhoda's referring to. That was the Social Care Self-Directed Support Bill, of which there was a very extensive consultation as well.
No. It's okay anyway. There's no wrong questions here at all. So if you need a bit of clarity about that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Is there any other questions arising? No. If there's no other questions from the committee, then can we move to agenda item number 3, which is the formal debate on the affirmative SSI that we have just taken evidence. Can I remind the committee and others at this point that members should not put questions to the Minister during this session. It is the formal debate. And of course officials may not speak at this point either. Can I invite the Minister to move motion S4M 09254, please? Thank you. Does any member wish to contribute to the debate? No further comments from the Minister? Okay. Therefore, then, I put the question that the Draft Social Care Self-Directed Support Scotland Act 2013, Consequential and Saving Provisions Order 2014 be approved. Are we all agreed? Thank you. Can I thank the Minister and his officials for their attendance here this morning? Thank you very much. Thanks. We now move to agenda item number 4, which is consideration of 2 negative SSIs. The first instrument is National Assistance Assessment Resources Amendment, Scotland Regulations 2014, SSI 2014-38. There has been no motion to annul, and the Delegated Powers and Law Reform Committee has not made any comments on the instrument. Is the committee... Nobody wished to make any comments from the committee? Yes?
The only comment I'd want to put on the record is I think that the committee may wish to consider the effects of the changes in pension contributions on early retirement of consultants and the consequential effects on the health service as a whole. Because certainly I am hearing that there are substantial numbers of consultants who are now retiring for the reasons of both the increased contributions in this particular SSI, but also the cap on pension level, the lifetime allowance, which has been introduced by the UK government. And these two are having an effect upon some of the most experienced and senior consultants choosing to retire early. But it doesn't affect the SSI.
No, I think it's maybe something you're echoing some of the comments that was made earlier by the Cabinet Secretary about other unforeseen impacts on out of hours care as well, and so it may be something that we do bear in mind. I think we'd all agree with that. Is the committee agreed then to make no recommendations? That's agreed then, thank you. The second instrument is HIV testing kits and service revocation. Scotland Regulations 2014 SSI 2014-42. There's been no motion to annul, and the Delegated Powers and Law Reform Committee has not made any comments on the instrument. Is there any comments from the committee? No. Is the committee therefore agreed to make no recommendation? Thank you, that's agreed. That's a conclusion of our public part of the meeting, and as agreed earlier, the committee will now go into private session. Thank you.